Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Again, this is Rob Salikulan, your partner learning mathematics. In this video, we are going to learn about salary and wages, how this salary and wage works, and what's the difference between these two. So meaning, in this video, we are going to talk about some money or the income of a certain employee in a certain company. So let's try to see how everything works now. So before that, let's try to differentiate salary and wages. How salary works, how wage works. So a battle between salary and wage. So for salary, it refers to payment for this performance of specific duties. So meaning salary, of course, that is a payment wherein it is more on are you done with your job, not the specific how long you finish the job. It's more on the duties done in a specific workplace. While wage, it refers to a form of payment, same, it is same with salary, that is a form of payment, wherein for wages, it is dependent on the number of hours worked. So, meaning, if you're working, then your income for that specific company depends more on how long you work or you are paid by hour, meaning it is referring to wage. While if it is not dependent on the number of hours, it's more on the duties done, it is more on the salary. Moreover, salary can be in the form of a fixed amount of money paid regardless the amount of time worked or the production rendered. Yes, so since it is more on specific duties, it meaning the payment the payment done in the salary, it is fixed, regardless of how long you work for Monday, how long you work for Tuesday, because the salary there or the amount for salary is fixed. While on wages are dependent on the output and the quantity produced. So aside from wages is more on dependent on time, it is also dependent on the number of production. Because there are certain company that you are paid according to the output you rendered or the production you produced. So that is wages and salary. So example of jobs that is in the salary base or in a fixed amount based on a specific duties. These are the managers, supervisors, office school teachers, hospital workers, office clerks, bank employees, and whatnot. So these are example of jobs whose payment is based on performance and not on the number of time rendered. An example of jobs that is paid by hours. These are university professor, part-time workers. Example, those who are working in a fast food chain, they are paid by hours. Masons and carpenters, plumbers, and etc. So meaning in the real world setting, there may be jobs that are paid according to their service, and there may be jobs as well paid according to the hours or production rendered. So this is the difference between salary and wages. And anchored to it, part of salary and wages as an employee, you have to know your gross earnings and your net earnings. So both are earnings, but what is the difference between the two? So this is the second battle between gross earnings and net earnings. So for the gross earning, it refers to the total income derived from all sources, such as salaries, wage, commission, fees, incomes, and others. So meaning, when you talk about gross, that is the total amount that you rendered in a service. Example, you are paid 20,000 per month. So meaning 20,000 per month is your gross earnings. So what is net earnings? Net earnings, that is the difference between gross earnings and the deduction. So meaning, if you are paid 20,000 a month, that is your gross, and it doesn't mean you can get the the total amount of 20,000 per month, because we have this so-called deductions. We have so-called deductions that is monthly deducted to your income. So this net earnings, this is what we call the take net take home pay. Ito yung nauuwi natin after we receive a salary or wage. Okay? So meaning this is true to all workers, that every time you work in a certain company, deductions are really there. It is not mere deduction, because there are deductions that are fixed by the law or mandated by the law. There are also deductions that are personal, such as loans and whatnot. Okay, so gross, again, that is the total salary that you should get, and net is the income or the take home pay deducted by a certain deductions mandated by the law, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is gross earnings and net earnings. Of course, talking about deductions. So what are these deductions that is true to all workers, true to all employee? Okay, so we have the so-called mandatory and optional deductions. It's the third battle between mandatory versus optional deductions. They say mandatory, that is mandated by the law, fixed by the law, and should be there in all workers, true to all workers. Or when you say optional, that is based on the participation of the employee. Okay? So that is not true to all employee worldwide or in the community. So let's try to see what are these mandatory deductions. It includes income tax payment. So every worker there should participate in every tax payment. So meaning, if you are a worker, you have to pay tax. So that is mandatory, and that is automatically deducted to your monthly or to your salary every salary period. Aside from that, mandatory as well that you will be deducted by an SSS or the Social Security System, and for GSIS. So meaning you are obliged to be a member of this following organizations. And later we will know these organizations more. And aside from that, it is also mandatory that you will be deducted by a PhilHealth. That is also mandated by the law to all employee, and Pag-ibig Fund contributions. So these are for Pag-ibig. This is about housing loans and so on and so forth. So these are example of mandatory deductions that is automatically deducted to your salary or to your wage. Okay. So how about optional deductions? For optional, these are your salary or housing loan. So because every time there is a example, you loan a certain house from the bank, and you told your employer to deduct it from your monthly salary. So meaning it is not true to all. It is true for some. That is optional. Aside from that, insurance coverage, that is also an optional, not really mandated by the law. It is more on your want as an employee to be part of your day-to-day life as an employee. Aside from that, union dues, those are payment done in a workplace, because we have this so-called we have this in a law that all workers will have this right to make some groups to protect their rights as an employee. So of course, every group or every organization can work through money, through the system of money. So this is some optional if your workplace has this union. So it is optional that you will pay for a certain dues or amount as to be member of the union, and a lot more. So these are example of mandatory and optional. Again, mandatory is mandated by the law, and optional, it is more on personal. Okay, it is more on you, your desire to pay for your loans. Okay, so these are the deductions that will later on will know more as we go on in this video. Okay. So again, as I told you earlier, the difference between the gross pay is the total salary amount that you're going to receive, and the total deduction is known is the net pay. So meaning the difference between your salary minus the deductions, including the mandatory and the optional. It is what you call the net pay, or all the employee called it take home pay, because that's the only amount that you can bring home to your family. Okay, so mathematically that is net pay is equal to the gross pay minus the total deductions. So that is how your salary works once you entered the world of working, especially if you're working in a certain company. Okay, but if you plan to work alone, you do your own business, of course, everything is optional. You can you can do you can create you can manage your own deductions. So, but this thing that I'm talking to you only works when you are working in a certain company. In short, you have bosses. So your employer where you are working is obliged or responsible for doing this deductions and so on and so forth. Okay? Okay. So let's talk about this mandatory deductions on we why should people or employee are deducted for these certain deductions, most especially those mandatory, that is mandated by the law. Okay, so let's begin with SSS, premium contribution, or this SSS means Social Security System, premium contribution. What is this? What is the advantage if we are a member of this one? So for SSS, this deduction is for individuals in the private sector. As you can observe, if you're working in a private company, not owned by the government, all the employers there should be a member of SSS. Okay? So for the public sector or government owned, there should be they are mandated to be a member of GSIS. For SSS, for private sector, and for GSIS, for public or government officials. So question is, if I will be a member of SSS and I'll contribute monthly, what are my benefits? Okay, some of the benefits of SSS members may avail from the system. You can do salary loans, housing loans, retirement pensions, and workman sickness compensations. Okay, so every time you put money or you contribute as a part of your membership, so part of their benefit is you can do a salary loan in case you need more money. You can do housing loans, and if you hear this thing that those old people have their pensions as they reach 60 years old. So that's the result of them being a member of SSS. So if you will not include yourself, or you will not put yourself as a member of SSS, you don't have any supporting body, meaning as you get old, you will not receive any retirement pension from the government or from the private sector. Meaning, as you are young as today, you should be part of SSS. For you, as soon as you get old, you will receive some support system, because we believe, or the goal of SSS is that as you get old, or as you get the senior citizen level, you cannot work anymore. So what we need is to take rest receive some pensions for your day-to-day living or day-to-day needs. Okay, that is SSS premium contribution. Okay, so second mandatory contribution that everyone that is true to all is what we call PhilHealth. PhilHealth, so I think it's very obvious. This deduction is for individual in the government and private sectors, meaning PhilHealth is true to all. Either you are working in a government or you're working in a private company. So you should be part or should be a member of PhilHealth. You should contribute from your monthly salary. Okay, so same with SSS. What is the benefit of being a member of PhilHealth? So if you're a member of PhilHealth, you may avail the system including coverage of hospitalization, sickness, and accident expenses because we believe that health is wealth. That is the goal of PhilHealth. So we cannot say we cannot say the sickness, the accident of day to day. So we should be prepared by putting some contribution to PhilHealth for us to be ready every time hospitalization comes to our life, when sickness comes, and accident comes. So that we will not be burdened with expenses. So that is the goal, a support system for our hospitalization. So that is PhilHealth, and that is true to all. Okay, so aside from the first two mandatory payment or deduction to all our salary, we have this so-called pag-ibig fund contribution. Pag-ibig fund this is not preparation for your love. This is somehow greater than that. Okay, so the goal of pag-ibig fund is it is established to provide national savings program and affordable house financing programs for Filipino workers. So meaning the pag-ibig fund contribution or this system believes that every workers has a dream to build their own house. So by contributing to the system, at least this system can help a Filipino worker to build their own house. And because that is one of the goals, majority of the goals of the Filipino workers to build their own house. That is why Pag-ibig Fund is there to help you. So, is Pag-ibig Fund to all workers? Yes, it is mandatory for SSS and GSIS members if you are in the private sector and if you are a member of a government officials, AFP, PNP, OFW, and Filipinos employed by foreign-based employers. You are mandated, you are obliged, you should pay. You should be a member of Pag-ibig Fund. Okay, so that is the different sectors, a different body that will help you as a Filipino worker. Okay, because if you will not do or you will not be a member of this mentioned system, it is very hard as a Filipino worker to establish by your own. So these are helping body in short. Okay, so aside from that, we have the so-called withholding tax. Withholding tax, that is your participation as a citizen of the nation. You, as a citizen of the nation, you're responsible to pay for your taxes because tax, that is a form of money, that is an amount of money levied by the government on its citizen and business establishment in order to generate funds to finance its public services and development projects. We believe that tax or money is the only way to make a nation's work. So every citizen has its responsibility to pay its tax for the government. For the government offers a lot of services to the public. Okay, so withholding tax is one of the mandatory deductions to all the employee out there, and they should pay for that one. Okay, so income tax is imposed on income derived from the salaries, wages, commission, bonuses, and other related income. So for the first pay deduction that I told you, the SSS PhilHealth Pag-ibig Fund, I told you that it has their respective responsibility to help this Filipino worker. For paying a tax, what is my benefit as a Filipino citizen or as a Filipino worker that can I get from paying from it? All the public services, example for using of roads, using of airwaves, using of other public and development projects made by the government, that is out from your tax pay. Okay? So that is the benefit. So if you're not going to pay tax, you don't have any right to use the roads, to use the bridges, to use any public services and development projects. Okay, so that is your benefit as a citizen, as a worker, for paying tax, and everyone should be responsible for doing it. Okay, so income tax. So since you're a worker, you are obliged because we have lots of taxes out there. We have a lot of taxes, so as a worker, your responsibility is the income tax. Income tax is derived from your salaries, from your wage, or any other income generating output out there. Okay, so in summary, for the mandatory deductions, we have SSS, PhilHealth, PAG-IBIG, and the withholding tax. So these are mandatory, meaning it will be automatically deducted to your salary if you will be a worker. Okay, so that's all for deductions. And obviously, if you're talking about deduction, it is not really advantageous for you in every month because your salary will be deducted and your expenses or the money that you're going to use will be deducted. Okay, so of course, as an employee, you have some benefits. Benefits that you're going to receive to your company or the certain employee. Again, I am assuming here that everyone is employed. You are working in a certain company. You are not independent. You're working in a certain company. As an employee, you have lots of benefits. Okay, you have lots of rights. So one of it is employee benefit cover all remunerations other than salary and wage given to workers. So aside from salary and wage that you receive in your employer, you have also other benefits that can get from them, especially if you will become a regular employee in a certain company. So what are these benefits? It includes vacation leave, sick leave, bonuses, transportation and food allowances, clothing and housing allowances, medical insurance coverage, and a lot more. These are employees' benefits, and it is not part of your salary wages. These benefits of an employee or as a worker is mandated by the law. You should have a vacation leave. In 1 year, you should have some days out there in that particular year that you can do a vacation, but you are paid. If you also have sick, you can also use the sick leave. You will you rest and you are paid. Bonuses, okay, transportation and food allowances, and a lot more. So these are example of benefits, and it is not part of your salary and wage. That is other advantage for you as an employee. In the Philippines, regular employees are entitled to 13 vacation days with 1 vacation day every year. Okay, so meaning if you are a regular, meaning when you say regular, you already rendered 2 to 3 years of service in a company and you are regularized by your employer, meaning you have a 13 days vacation every year. Every year, so that is a 13 vacation days. And if you rendered another year, your vacation days will be added. Okay, will be added. So example, you work for this year, you have a 13 vacation days, and you For the next year, it will become 14 days because you rendered and you stay in that particular company. Okay, so that's true for the Philippine setting. Unused vacation leaves not exceeding a maximum of 18 days are convertible to cash at the end of the year. So meaning, since you have a vacation leave, it is still dependent to you as an employee. If you're going to use it or if you're not going to use it because not everyone has this privilege to do a vacation. Okay? So if you unused it, hindi ito nagamit, meaning you can convert it to cash. So it is still depend to you as an employee. Okay. So aside from that, employees are granted 12 days of sick leave with pay per year for the first 2 years of service. Again, so these are important employees benefit. You are granted 12 days sick leave with pay. Of course, it is only applicable if you are sick, not hindi yung nagdadrama lang na may sakit. Okay? So, 12 days of sick leave with pay. Of course, in your first year of service, it is as a worker in a particular company, these benefits are not really visible. These are visible whenever you are regularized by your employer. It is more on you already rendered 2 to 3 years of service. Okay? Employees are entitled to holiday pay based on the regular pay and Philippine holidays. And we believe we have fixed Philippine holidays, example, Independence Day, Araw ng Kagitingan, Christmas Day, what else? Bonifacius Day, and so on and so forth. So these are Philippine holidays, and everyone are entitled with it, with a payment, of course. It shouldn't be deducted to you if you're not working on a particular day. Otherwise, your employer will be sanctioned by the law. Okay? So that's we are entitled to Philippine holidays with pay. Okay? So aside from the employee's benefit, you have also 13th-month pay is granted to all employees regardless of status of employment. So meaning for 13-month pay, it doesn't mean you are regular, so you can receive that one. Even though you rendered 1 month, 2 months, 5 months in a certain company as a service, you are entitled to receive your 13-month pay. What is this 13-month pay? Because in the Philippine setting, we believe that they generated this one as another payment for you at the end of the month or every 6 months. You're going to receive this one. So these are your granted. This 13-month pay is not a bonus. This is really mandated by the law. You are going to receive it one. Do not call 13-month pay as a bonus. That is really your payment because you work for it. Okay, so those are the employee's benefits and some or working body that is visible as an employee. Okay, so how computation of total deduction works. So total deduction is equal to SSS or SSFL, pag-ibig, tax withheld, or optional deductions. So meaning all the mandatory deduction and optional deductions, if you're going to sum it up, that is your total deduction. So that's how it works. Okay. So these are some of the important things that you should know as an employee, as a worker in a certain company. These are mandated by the law. These are true to all employee out there. Okay, so with more of this solar ages, so proceed to my next video as of the moment. So that's it for this video. Okay, see you in my next video. Bye bye.